Okay, so this is what we got. 4 boxes here, labeled box 1 of 4, which is nice. 3 of 4, 2 of 4, and 4 of 4. Packaging looks undamaged, and like I said, I really like that they got these little stickers with QR codes. Seams are taped up nice. I mean, even beyond the seams where we didn't have anything blow out. We'll get these boxes open and we'll take a look. All right, got the boxes opened up. The lids fold back really nice. So you've got access to the whole box. Lots of polystyrene in all these. We've got a instruction booklet. We'll see if I need that or not. I wish I could send the smell on here. Really nice. Fresh pine smell. It's kind of nice. Open it. And I will set you up and we'll see how assembly goes. Excuse the shop as a pit. All right, so I'll grab you. I must not have followed directions well enough or read. I've been more looking at pictures and seeing what screws I need. But come to find out, this tray here, I put the gap up here thinking it needed to be flush at the top, but we need that gap. We need this panel flush with the bottom so we can slide the droppings tray in there. So we'll have to do a decent bit of disassembly here because those screws are covered by these outside panels. So I'm going to take quite a bit apart. All right, so that is the least riveting hour and 22 minutes you'll ever see. We are together. There's a couple of these latches, so these latches are duplicated on the other side. I'll get those put on. Going through this, let's see, the hinges, they're pretty decent. They lock in place. The biggest thing I had in just assembly was the markings on some of the parts. They're stamped on the ends of the panels, and some of those were challenging to find the stamp if it was on there. They're a dark black. A little tough to see, but I'm sure I could have read the instructions a little better and avoided the issue with this waste tray here. Just getting that gap put on there. Overall, everything seems to move like it's supposed to move. Lines up. Assembly wasn't too bad. And I apologize. Alyssa had a meeting, so I had to put this thing together. But I would say not too bad. The inside looks very nice. Everything's relatively squared up. It was kind of up to the assembler to square things up. That was one thing that was noted a few times on the edges to make sure all these seams are lined up and looking square. I really don't see any major issues with it. Aside from, I know they've got a video that goes through assembly that I should have watched in its entirety just to be more familiar with it rather than figuring out on the fly. But quality wise, I mean, it's not the heaviest thing in the world. An initial concern just being out here is I'll have to put some anchors so that it doesn't blow over. It certainly is relatively top heavy. And I'll be really curious. So obviously it's not going to be permanently in its home here in the shop. But I'll be curious how it handles being moved. So we'll pick it up, put it on a pallet, and move it with a skid loader or something to its permanent location. So I'm going to be curious how square everything stays with it being moved. I know it's not its intended purpose, but it'll be interesting. I mean, it's solid enough to hold chickens. All the hardware works like it's supposed to. What else do I see? Latches are okay. They lined up relatively well. I don't know if there's any left, so I didn't get these latches. I put the latches on the other side, but you can see here they've got these little indentations for where the screws go on each of these pads, which is really handy for figuring out, okay, they want the lever on this side, the latch on that side. But the one thing I did see is they must have changed suppliers on their hardware because not all of the spacing lined up, or changed the model on the latch. Not a big deal. It's a nice indicator. And that holds, once I get that slide latch on, that'll hold a lot tighter. I mean, everything certainly feels sturdy enough. I'm no expert in this world on chicken coops, but just as a general consumer, it doesn't feel like there's corners cut. There's one of those stamps. So you can see there's a G, and you can make that one out rather well compared to some of the other ones. But as a consumer, it feels, the instructions are about like IKEA. I'd say probably better than that because things are spelled out, worded out, rather than just the images. Excited to get some chickens in it, see how they react to it. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that I'd be afraid of selling this product, or if I was, buying this product and got it, I certainly wouldn't be disappointed. This rain cover, it very much feels like an afterthought. It's something you screw on, and it said in the instructions, just keep water out. So I'm guessing they were getting water ingress into the nesting box, and it certainly serves its purpose. It blends in really well, but just screwing that on, that's what goes through my head, is it feels like an afterthought that they had maybe some customer complaints, and that's how they resolved it rather than a larger design change, which is fine, but it certainly feels like something added on later rather than integrated into the product. Otherwise, it feels sturdy enough with the instruction booklet, and all I had was just a regular impact driver and Phillips bit. I don't think I used really anything else to put this thing together. The instructions were clear enough. I think I wish I would have read it through all the way through before starting, but at the same time, until you get your hands on the parts, it's kind of unclear where everything goes, how it's going to go together. So not bad. All of the packaging, it was either this video or the last video, went through the packaging at the start. There's one box. This box number 1 was relatively large and somewhat heavy, that I think if you were a smaller person, you'd certainly need 2 people to lift it. I intentionally assembled this by myself instead of using Troy or somebody else to assist me with it. I think having a second person would definitely be beneficial to help hold things in place, square it up. It looks really nice. Hopefully you can tell that in the video. I mean, you've got some exposed hardware. There's a couple spots I noticed that, let's see if I can show you this, where hardware is put in at an angle, so it's not always sunk all the way in. Especially on some of the pre-assembled hardware, I noticed it a decent bit, that it's not way off, but I've seen worse. What else? No glaring red flags. If that's what we're looking for, I don't see any reason not to get excited about this coupe. It looks nice. We'll see how it holds up in the weather. That's going to be really interesting. Both sun, wind, rain, sandblasting from the sand blowing in the wind around here. And I don't know how much you could hear my mumblings while I was doing it. Nice little, they'd advertise that as an egg apron for collecting eggs there. But that's what I think. So for what it's worth.